Hello, good morning everyone, and welcome to my channel Shelleyz Education Center. Today is our English class, and in this class I will discuss a very important question of Samson Agonistes by Milton. The story and explanation. Samson Agonistes is the tragedy of Samson, a once mighty warrior brought low by his own pride and lust. The central theme is redemptive suffering. Samson is disempowered, enslaved, and blinded, but ironically, his spiritual sense has never been keener. This is the nutshell of the story. Before I start the class, I'd like to tell you, if you are new to my channel, please give comment and subscribe the channel to get all the updates. Let's start with the question. The story. Samson was a muscle man with a weakness for the ladies. He is the biblical Hercules, a man of superhuman strength, but could not escape tragedy. In the book of Judges, the story is found. Samson's birth story is interesting. An angel of God told his mother that her child will be dedicated to God from his birth. He will save the Israelis from the Philistines. Samson's story skips from his birth to his adultery. Samson's first distinguished and important wish was to have a Philistine woman as his wife. But his parents had a different opinion, objected to his interest, and told him to marry an Israeli woman. But Samson's thought was that by marrying a Philistine woman, he will have opportunities to infiltrate and fight against the Philistines, as they were the current oppressors of the Israelis. By his thought of a non-Israeli bride, he first discovered his superhuman strength. After marriage, he used his strength to kill 30 Philistine men in a fit of rage, which fulfilled the angel's prophecy, and this act exemplifies Samson's revenge-based vigilantism. The Philistines raid a town in Judah to capture Samson. To save themselves, the Judeans tie up Samson to deliver him to the Philistines. But the Spirit of the Lord rushed on him, and the ropes that were on his arms caught fire. Then Samson killed 1,000 men by a fresh jawbone of a donkey. He leads no army, but acts entirely on his own, fueled by his superhuman ability. He falls in love with a second Philistine woman, Delilah, who was very notorious. She came to Samson to find out the secret of his strength. She tried 3 times but failed to know the secret. But at last Samson confessed that a razor has never come to his head, for he has been a Nazarite to God from his mother's womb. If his head were shaved, his all strength would leave him. At that night, Delilah shaved his hair. At once, Samson immediately wakens, and God's power leaves him. Then Delilah handed over Samson to the Philistines. They gouged out his eyes and imprisoned him. Samson's greatest victory against the Philistine was at the time of his death. The Philistines brings him down to Gaza, bind him with 2 pillars in the temple. They did it as display for the amusements of the Philistines' worshippers. At that moment, Samson prays to God asking for his strength to return to him just one more time. God immediately responds by sending him a final burst of strength. Samson pushed against the pillars and brings the entire temple down. By this act, he killed himself and all the people in the temple with him. Those Samson killed at his death were more than those he had killed during his whole life. At the festival of their god Dagon, Samson's such act was the greatest disaster for the Philistines. Samson's father Manoah takes pride in his son's heroism. He consoles himself while the chorus left by chanting praise of the hero and of the wisdom of God who sustains his people. Explanation. Samson Agonistes is a tragic poem by John Milton, published in 1671. Its subject is the last days of Samson's life, blind, like the poet himself, and a prisoner of the Philistine, eyeless, in Gaza at the mill with slaves. The Agonistes of the title refers to Samson as a wrestler or challenger, as in an athletic tournament. Samson, the Jewish hero, has been betrayed by his Philistine consorts Delilah, spelt Delilah in the authorized version of the Bible, where she is not his wife, to her own clan, who were the enemies of the Jews. He was a child of God. In the end, God's purpose is revealed, and Samson goes to participate in the Philistine festival, knowing that this is what God wishes him to do. His death in destroying his enemies was the destiny prepared for him. He saved the Jewish people from the aggression of the Philistines. In this way, Samson becomes a tragic hero. Samson may have followed his own inclination, but the master plan was made by God. His motivation may have been questionable, but Samson was still an important hero at a troubled time for Israelis. Now, from the entire facts, we can analyze Milton's Samson is entirely different in many ways. The biblical Samson is neither sensitive and moral nor intelligent. His adventures as anticipation of Christ's life. Milton makes his Samson eloquently introspective and gives him the conscience of a 17th century Puritan. Milton's play is, in form, a classical tragedy. The unities of time, place, and action are carefully observed. There is a chorus and a messenger. Violent action takes place off stage, and we watch a hero enmeshed in the coils of fate. But just as Milton conquered the epic form in Paradise Lost and the elegy in Lycidias, he bends Aristotelian tragic principles to his own ends in Samson Agonistes. Samson's epiphany refills the ways of God with a sinful man. The play is a brilliant weaving of the Hebraic story on a classical form for Christian purposes. So, this is for the day, and thanks for watching the video. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe to be with the channel all the time. Bye.